This is KGW News at Sunrise.
I'm a person of faith that believes that when people leave here, they go to be with God. But this one made me cry for multiple days.
A man charged in a deadly shooting in Dawson Park. Turns out he was already in jail for 2 other shootings from just the day before. Old Town's community leaders are calling on the city to do something about growing crime in the neighborhood. Coming up this morning, what they want accomplished in the next 3 months. Plus,
have you had the meatball pizza before from 24th Pizza and Meatballs?
I have not.
The good news for that man, we had plenty of that delicious meatball pizza to give away outside the home of what is now called 24th Pizza and Meatballs, a new name for an old favorite of mine. Coming up here at 5:15, we're going to head out there to celebrate National Meatball Day. It's basically a pretty weak excuse to check out one of my favorite places.
That's okay. There's a day for everything, isn't there? Yeah. Good morning to you on this Wednesday. I know that sounds good to you, Rod.
Yes, I've never had meatballs. In fact, I've never even seen. In fact, I've never even heard of meatballs on the pizza.
It's like ground sausage, but it's meatballs.
Well, it sounds like a fantastic idea. I'm in. All right, here we go. We have dry weather up to the north of us, and then the rain kind of sliding down to the south. So once we get the sun up and we get into mid-morning, I think the forecast then will be basically dry outside of a spotty shower the rest of the day. Right now we have some raindrops on the lens over downtown Portland, 40 degrees from the Wells Fargo building. Here's the bus stop. So really 8 o'clock, I think it's mainly dry unless you live down in the mid-valley or south down into Albany or so. 39 to be the temperature, partly cloudy, mid-40s at noon. Again, maybe a spotty shower this afternoon, but basically dry with a high of around 49, and that's your day.
Thank you, Rod. We begin this morning with Portland police making 2 significant arrests, starting with the man accused of last week's deadly shooting near Dawson Park in the middle of the day.
Yeah, there are 2 outrageous parts to this case. One, the suspect was already in jail, accused of shooting 2 other people just the day before. And 2, court docs show he spent 10 years committed to a mental ward for being criminally insane, but was just released last year. Alma McCarty reports.
On March 1st, while hosting a community outreach event at Dawson Park for social change and anti-gun violence, Michael Tabor of Vancouver Avenue First Baptist Church witnessed a deadly shooting up close.
Realizing there were gunshots, I chose at the time to move toward them to see what had happened and noticed there was a gentleman who had been shot and was obviously laying in the middle of the street.
A week later, police identified the victim as 55-year-old Mark Johnson. Tabor said by the time he got to him, Johnson was already gone.
I think any loss of life is traumatic, but senseless loss of life is something that has challenged me tremendously. I think that I'm a person of faith that believes that when people leave here, they go to be with God. But this one made me cry for multiple days.
Earlier this week, detectives charged Joseph Banks with murder in the shooting death of Johnson. Banks was already behind bars, having been arrested on March 2nd for 2 North Portland shootings that happened less than 24 hours before Johnson's murder. Officers said the first shooting happened at this very intersection, North Williams and Northeast Stanton, at 4:45 p.m. on February 28th. The second shooting less than 10 minutes later on Northeast Garfield Street. Court documents detail a long list of prior convictions for Banks out of California, Oregon, and Washington. Federal court documents also show Banks was found not guilty by reason of insanity for a felon in possession of a firearm charge, and that he was committed for a decade before a 2021 conditional release.
If we're not going to make our community safe for everybody, then it's safe for no one.
Tabor plans to continue his outreach at Dawson Park in hopes to help heal this community.
Not only go back, but if I'm doing community outreach, what better time to galvanize people and bring them together than right after something like this.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
And the second arrest we mentioned tops this morning's headlines. Lona Akoni Hudson is accused of shooting and killing a man in a parking garage near the convention center.
Hudson was in court yesterday and pleaded not guilty. We talked to the family of victim Jacob Dreyer. They say they don't know the man police arrested and have no idea what could have led to the shooting. 2 weeks after this devastating fire at an Eastern Oregon factory, we've learned all the workers will be laid off. Shearer's Foods announced it'll be more than a year before it can resume production in Hermiston. The company says it's looking for opportunities to relocate employees, and it is offering severance packages. The city manager says about 1 in every 30 jobs in Hermiston was at Shearer's Foods. And a new Portland shelter is open, serving women, children, and marginalized genders. Rosehaven is on Northwest Gleason. This new space will double the number of people it can serve. It provides day shelter, resources, and emotional support to those experiencing homelessness and poverty. And those are some of your Wednesday morning headlines.
Police in Tigard have impounded what they're calling a vehicle of interest in the hit and run that killed a 57-year-old woman and seriously injured her mother. We have photos here of Karen Kane. She's playing the fiddle there. Karen is the woman who was hit and killed last Friday. Police say she and her mom were crossing Southwest Hall Boulevard at Lucille Court when the driver of a dark-colored Jeep Renegade hit them, and then kept going. The video we're showing you here shows the flowers and candles that were set up at the spot of the hit and run. There's also a string of signs there with messages on them, including "A driver killed our neighbor," and "Every corner is a crosswalk."
And if somebody was driving too fast or carelessly or texting or drunk or any of that, it would be so easy. Karen is the sweetest person, just really generous and kind and thinking about other people all the time.
Police said yesterday they found the vehicle of interest near the crash scene. We have no word yet on the driver, but we're told Karen Kane's mother, who's 86 years old, is recovering.
War and gas prices are top of mind as we near the second full week of Russia's onslaught in Ukraine. This as Russian forces move closer to the heart of the country, Ukraine's capital city of Kyiv. The U.S. is hitting Russia with one of its toughest punishments yet, a ban on oil, gas, and energy imports. Global oil and gas sales make up 40% of Russia's revenue. The U.S. gets just 8% of our imports from there, but because the price you pay at the pump is based on the global price of a barrel of oil, which has risen because of Russia, prices will go up for us. As the war continues, U.S. intelligence officials warn Putin is growing frustrated and may intensify his assault.
He's likely to double down and try to grind down the Ukrainian military with no regard for civilian casualties.
Congress is racing to provide close to $14 billion in assistance to Ukraine. It includes money for humanitarian efforts and to help their military and economy.
Community leaders in Portland's Old Town neighborhood joined forces to demand that the city take more action to fight crime and clear the streets. Pat Doris talked with some of those leaders, and he shared their concerns last night during the story.
Community leaders in Portland's Old Town say the crime and mental health problems are out of control there. And Tuesday, they demanded the city's elected officials take action to help out.
We're holding this press conference today because Old Town is in crisis, and everyone that is living or working here is suffering. We need immediate help, immediate relief.
That's Jessie Burke, the chair of the Old Town Community Association and owner of the Society Hotel. She's here because she and so many others are fed up with a lack of action by Portland city leaders and county leaders who seem to be turning a blind eye to the ugly reality that is now thriving in Old Town.
Many Portlanders haven't left home or gone much further than their neighborhood shops these last 2 years. We have lived and worked side by side with those so extremely mentally ill. They walk the streets naked, even in winter. They lick our windows, they eat food off the street and from city trash bins, and have untreated injuries that are the stuff of nightmares. And there is no plan for where they will ever live or be properly cared for.
Burke and other Old Town business owners met with city leaders in October. That's last October. They were told to come up with their own solutions on how to fix the community. So today they released their demands. In the next 90 days, they want more police in the area to cut the property crime rate by 40%. They also want 60 inches or 5 feet of clearance on all the sidewalks to make them usable for people in wheelchairs and for other reasons. That would likely mean clearing out most of those homeless tents that you see there now. They also want to increase lighting by 100%, and they want graffiti removed within 3 days. So, will the city meet their demands? We'll, of course, keep an eye on what happens. And if you want to watch our full report on the Old Town situation, check out the KGW YouTube channel.
Here's something else you may want to check out. Have you guys ever heard of a bee atlas? Yeah, it's a thing at Oregon State University, and it was just updated with hundreds of new species of bees. What's interesting is experts say most are not likely to sting you. So here's the backstory to all this. Oregon State has a program that trains everyday people how to capture and document wild species. In the last month, the Atlas added 224 unique bee species for a total of 650. The idea is to document habitats, behaviors, and plants that bees interact with.
So if we want to find out if things are getting better or getting worse, we need a high-resolution historical snapshot to compare things against. And in most cases, we don't have those kinds of historical baselines. And so we're really setting a strong one here.
Experts say climate change and pesticides have put many bee populations in danger. The Oregon Bee Atlas uses its data to show what can be done to reverse those impacts. And Rod, OSU says it hopes that other states and even other countries follow suit and start their own atlases. That's so interesting.
So be honest, I did not. Did you have any idea there were over 600 types of bees? Is that what the story said?
Yeah, no, and I didn't realize that not all of them will sting you, because that's what I'm afraid of when I see a bee.
See, next time you go, nice bee, nice bee.
Let's not go that far. What are you working on this morning?
We're following Timberline. Just some light flurries up there right now. It's 23 degrees. This is my setup to show you that passes our snow cover this morning. If your travel plans take you up over the high country, there's Highway 26, snow covered at 27 degrees currently. Santiam, it's snowing, you can't see anything, 25 degrees. Improving travel conditions this afternoon with mainly dry weather and some sun coming, but slow going up there this morning. Okay, we're in this kind of bowl of cool weather. We do have drying coming in from the north this morning. So here's the current radar. Again, if you look at Longview and up to Seattle, it's drying out. So the rain that we have on the radar is dropping to the south. Snow levels are low, actually below 2,000 feet, and we have some snow showers even reported in Hood River this morning. None of that will amount to much, and you folks will have drying coming in during the morning hours as well. Again, all of that sliding off to the south. So a partly cloudy day is coming. Here are the current numbers. Kelso Astoria now in the upper 30s, Portland close at 40, Salem, Eugene in the 40s. The Dow's above freezing at 39. Hood River's been 34 with that report of light snow. And then we have 20-degree temperatures out farther to the east. So your day generally becoming partly cloudy. We'll keep an eye out for maybe a spotty afternoon shower. Remember, the air mass is cold, so we could get some cumulus buildup that would produce a spotty shower. Temperatures around 50 degrees. East winds will also start to develop. That will help give us some sunshine today. Not overly windy, but maybe 5 to 25 miles per hour, especially near the Columbia River today. Longview 48 for a high. Already pretty much dry up in Cowlitz County at this hour. And then the 7-day forecast, hard freeze tonight. So if you've been hooking up the garden hoses, unhook them before you go to bed tonight. Could be mid to upper 20s in the valley. We'll rebound nicely tomorrow, 54, and Saturday 59. That's your forecast.
More from Rod coming up in about 7 minutes, but first. Hello there. How you doing there, sir? Are your dogs friendly? We're talking to people today about National Meatball Day. Have you tried the pizza yet?
Hey, that's not for you.
Coming up next here on Sunrise, a segment filled with overly enthusiastic dogs, terrifically tasty pizza, and plenty of meatballs thrown in for good measure. In honor of National Meatball Day, we're heading out to Northeast Portland to visit an old favorite of mine with a brand new name.